Are you intimidated by Shakespearean text? Does your brain short circuit when you look at a new Shakespearean monologue or soliloquy? Does that little voice in your head tell you that learning Shakespeare and understanding Shakespeare is impossible? Well, guess what? It's not impossible at all. Welcome to the Theatre Curation Project's online theatre school. My name is Jacob James. I'm an actor, director, and drama professor. And I'm also the creator of this YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to help you understand 3 very easy steps that are going to enable you to be able to read, understand, and perform any Shakespearean text that you choose. If at the end of the video you find that you've gotten something out of this, it would mean the world to me if you would please subscribe, like, and share so we can help the Theatre Curation Project reach the global theatre community. So, for today's lesson, I've chosen to work with Edmund's speech from King Lear, the bastard speech, or Thou, Nature, art my goddess. But the 3 lessons that I'm going to pass on to you today, they will apply to any piece of Shakespearean text that you choose. In a moment, I'm going to bring up a visual of the actual speech, and I'd encourage you to, at this point, just pause the video with the text on the screen, and I would like you to just give it a cold read. Just see where you're at right now versus where you're at after you've learned the 3 lessons at the end of this video. So here is the text. Great, now that you've gone through the text cold, we're going to look at step 1, separating thoughts for stop punctuation. Every time we come to a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark, we're drawing a divide in the actual text. Now we separate each of the thoughts because otherwise when we look at a big massive Shakespearean speech, sometimes the intimidation alarm bells go off because it's this big giant mass of words that seems way too much, seems unintelligible. Where do I begin? So what I do to begin and what I've been trained to do is to separate the thoughts. That way it compartmentalizes the argument of the speech, and it helps you make sense. It's just one thought, then it gives birth to the next thought, then the next thought gives birth to the next thought. It's sort of like if we were roommates and I was going to the store and I said, I would not say, hey, I'm going to the grocery store, I'm getting chocolate milk, birthday cake candles, paper bags, and garbage bags, and everything we need for the party. In real life, one thought gives birth to the next thought, so it would probably come out more like this. Hey, I'm going to the store, and you get chocolate milk, and birthday cake candles, and paper bags, and garbage bags. You know, one thought gives birth to the next thought, as opposed to da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So now I'm going to bring up again the visual of the Edmund speech, and I'm going to go through and draw lines to separate each of the individual thoughts. So follow along with me now. Great. Now that we've separated the thoughts with the stop punctuation, the period, the question mark, or the exclamation mark, and drawn lines to divide it, we've now compartmentalized that massive speech into sections. So the application and the exercise that we're going to use now to layer it in is this. I'd like you to imagine that there's a door in front of you, and you're going to open the door, come in, and speak the first thought, and let it end, and then leave. Go right back out the door. But when you get to the other side of the door, think to yourself, actually, there's something else I need to add to that. Then come back in the door and say the second thought, and then leave. So on and so on for each of the thoughts. Excellent. Now that we've done the layer of coming in, speaking a thought, leaving, gotta say more, coming back in, adding to it, leaving, and so on and so on. Now, what I'd like you to do for an exercise is only mentally leave the room and come back, all right? I want you to shift gears mentally. And now step 2. I love this one. What I like to tell my students, I like to have them repeat this mantra with me. Acting is action, actions are verbs, and verbs tell a story. So repeat after me. Acting is action, actions are verbs, verbs tell a story. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the text and we're going to underline all of the active verbs. And it's going to look like this. Great, you've underlined all the active verbs. The exercise now is to use those verbs to tell a story. Shakespearean text is heightened. It's not contemporary. It's not the way I'm speaking to you right now. It's not the way that we speak to each other on the street. It requires a bit of a heightened kind of quality. And one of the ways you achieve that without doing the thing of, your words must rise and rise until they hit the peak of the mountain and then descend and tremble as they go down. We don't want to do that. But we do require a little bit of heightening in order to make the Shakespearean language hold. So the exercise, now that you've underlined the active verbs, is this. I want you to imagine you're speaking to a room full of 6-year-old kids who don't speak English. And so you really have to use the verbs in an exaggerated way to make sure that they understand. Okay, and of course this is not what we're going to do when we get on stage. This is a layer, all right? We can always go all the way to Looney Tunes and then we can dial it back to high or medium or even low. So go ahead now, speak the speech exaggerating all of the active verbs. Excellent. Now the final step. Step 3, bracketing the adjectives. I want you to go through now and look for all the qualifying adjectives, meaning the words that describe a verb or a noun. Now the purpose of adjectives in Shakespeare are twofold. Of course, they paint a picture for you, but they also reveal your character's state of being along their journey. The best example I can think is in Romeo and Juliet. As we may or may not know, at the beginning of the play, Romeo is actually pretty miserable, pretty depressed because he's in love with this woman named Rosalind who doesn't want to be with him, basically. And so Benvolio tells Romeo's parents, oh, he's so depressed, he's during the daytime he shuts the shutters to make an artificial night, and he only goes out at nighttime when the moon's up because he's depressed. Later, after he's met Juliet at the party, he says this: "Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon." And it makes you go, wait a minute. He's calling the sun fair and the moon envious. But before, he hated the sun and he loved the moon, so something's changed. He's met Juliet, and now he's not depressed anymore. In fact, maybe he's in love. And you're going to put them into brackets. It's going to look like this. Great, so now you've put in brackets all the qualifying adjectives, and here's your exercise. I'd like you to now take a pass at the speech, omitting all of the adjectives that are in brackets, meaning don't say them. See if you can still make sense of the speech without using them. Now you can go back and put those adjectives back in, but this time use them. Excellent. Now that you've learned the 3 steps, I'd like you to go back to the speech with all your markings in there, and I would like you to give it another read and try to notice the difference of where you were when you read it cold at the beginning of this video and where you are now that you're applying these 3 steps. And please comment below on how it's changed, what difference it made. I'm very, very interested in hearing what your experience was with it and what that was for you. The Theatre Curation Project was created to preserve theatre stories and lessons for future generations and protect them from being lost forever. So please subscribe, like, and share. And you can help this channel reach all the global theater artists all around our global theater community. Also, I myself, Jacob James, am available for one-on-one coachings if you'd like to take your work a little further and a little deeper, or if there's an audition that you need to prepare for, or just any Shakespearean speech that you want to tackle. In the description below is my email. Please just put in the subject heading coaching request. And then you can book your own private online session. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video was beneficial for you, and there'll be many, many more lessons to come at Theatre Curation Project's online theater school.